Hey there. Today we're finally diving into the assembly of these plywood wall clocks I've been developing over the past 5 episodes. And if you missed those ones, let me just introduce myself quickly. My name's Matt. I'm a mechanical engineer and product developer with a dream of designing and creating my own products. And lately I've been developing this wall clock with a plywood end grain frame where the face is typed out on my antique typewriter. So we've got a bunch of loose ends to tie up in order for this project to come together. First thing I want to tackle is drilling the through hole in the MDF. Now, a few episodes ago when I first cut this MDF, I said I wanted to drill this center hole to its final size on a drill press because I was worried about keeping the edges as clean as possible. And I'd still prefer that, but I want to get these clocks done, so I'm just going to use a drill by hand and be as careful as I can. Bringing out the big guns for this one. That's what I was a little worried about. I thought this might tear out just a little bit, but you know what? I think I can sand that up. And the most important thing is that the clock movement fits in there. Yeah, it needs to be. Yeah, that's not bad. Perfect. Next up, we have to get the fit of this MDF into the frame just right. And right now, it's not quite fitting. It's a little bit oversized. And that's because this piece was cut on my old plywood jig, which I had to remake. And I think when I retraced those holes onto the new jig, something was lost in translation. I didn't do it quite right. But that's okay. All I have to do is take a little bit off the edge here, and I think I can get that fit just right. And I think I've come up with a way to do that. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. Getting better. I don't want it to really be a press fit. I want it to slip in nice and easily. So that's why I'm kind of babying this. Oh yeah. So close. Perfect. Gonna be totally honest here, that worked out a little bit better than I thought it would. Pops out pretty easily. Nice. Okay, now let's put the face on this thing. Glue stick always brings me back to those kindergarten days. Centered as best as I can. Let that dry for a bit. It's been about 20 minutes. I'm going to use the MDF as a template to cut the center hole out of the face. Not perfect, but that'll get covered up by a washer when I put the clock hardware in. Okay, I've been looking forward to this one for a while. This is where it's actually going to turn into a clock. So you're supposed to trim the hand lengths to whatever you think they should be. And this minute hand is looking a little long to me, so I'm going to bring that in just a little bit. That's better. Now that is looking pretty clockish. The next two steps are pretty high stakes though, so let's mark this one off and keep things rolling. Okay, this is the real deal. It's time to fix the acrylic into the frame. And the best way that I could come up with to do this and how I designed this whole clock to work is to epoxy the acrylic around the lowest step in the frame. If you remember a few episodes ago when I explained the cross section of the clock, I cut these steps into the frame. The clock face and the MDF rest on the middle step, and the acrylic will rest on the lowest step. And I think I can run a bead of epoxy around the acrylic and it'll be hidden behind that lowest step. So without further ado, let me get the paper off of this acrylic and we can get epoxying. This stuff is always such a pain. Okay. Well, this stuff has a 5-minute work time, so once I get moving here, things are gonna go quick. I'm gonna dab a couple spots. I would move the camera so you can see, but this is I want to get this right. Just gotta clean up a few spots. I'm gonna try to take care of any excess with a Q-tip. I was a little bit worried it might be leaking through to the underside, but it doesn't seem to be. No, it's not. So this should set in a few minutes, and then it'll cure in about an hour. All right, that went about as well as I could have hoped for. The epoxy was a little bit runnier than others I've worked with in the past, so that made me nervous that it was going to start leaking out the front, but it really didn't. And it's got some weight to it now, you know, this thing is starting to feel real. And there's really only one thing left to do. All right, let's bring this thing home. We've just got to fix the face into the frame. And I'm going to do that using these plastic brackets I found and these brass wood screws. I'm just going to pre-drill each hole so I don't risk splitting the frame when I drive the brass screws in. It's a little unnerving. And just like that, it's finished. I can't tell you how satisfying it is to finally be holding one of these things. It's been a long time coming, a lot longer than the 6 weeks that these episodes have been coming out. The real question is, what's next? Well, I want to make these available to you all. If I've learned anything over the course of this project, it's that by myself, I don't have the capacity to produce these at the scale that I thought I would, at least without the help of like a CNC router. So my plan for now is to start with a limited run of 25 first edition clocks, and I'll open up some pre-orders on my website. I'll leave a link down below. If you do order one, first of all, thank you so much. It means the world that you put your faith in me and you support the work that I do. And second, please know that with these pre-orders, I'm only taking on 25 because that's what I think I have the capacity for in a reasonable amount of time. Remember, it's just me over here. I have a full-time job, but I'm going to be working as fast as I can to get those orders out, and I appreciate your patience ahead of time. But with all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little series. I know the channel has been pretty inactive this year, but I really wanted to focus on a longer form project rather than the one video builds I usually do. And this series was a result of all the work that I was doing while I was gone. So I'm going to end it there. If you stuck around for this whole series, you have my sincere thanks. I really appreciate your time, and I hope to see you again real soon.